Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got an interesting show for you. We're going to talk about, did Bob Stoops scapegoat Heupel back in the day? But first, I want to talk to you about something. I told you folks about this straightaway product, and you put it on your golf club, and when you take it back, it puts you in the first position. It actually does a really good job of that. However, one of the things you got to be careful if you do buy this, they try to get you to sign up for a monthly fee where they give you lessons and stuff like that. I did not sign up for that, but they've been charging me $29 plus tax, and I'll show you that. And that's the product right there, and that's David Ledbetter, who's a very, very legitimate teaching pro, and I'm pretty ticked off at this monthly fee they're trying to get me for, and I'll show you what that actually, what they actually try to charge me for. And what they do is they try to charge you for getting lessons online. And Sir Nick Faldo, and I really like Nick Faldo, I'm really disappointed at this little, I don't know if I want to call it a trick or not, but I don't like the way they handled this. Hank Haney, etc. And they have these different instructors, and that's what they're trying to charge me for. And they've got these members, etc. I didn't sign up for that, don't want it, didn't need it. I just wanted their product, which is legitimate and it does work. But I tried to call them, it went straight to a voicemail. So I have disputed it through my credit card company, and they've already put the credit back on my account. But if you do buy that product, and like I said, I have talked about it, and it's a good product. I'm not going to sit here and rip the product. It works. But do not let them charge you $29 plus tax. It actually comes to $31.76. If you see that, let's say you bought that straight away. If you see that and you didn't sign up for it, you know, go ahead and dispute it. You can try to call the company, but it's going to go to a voicemail.
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
We'd like to see the man in charge.
And your credit card company, they'll give you the money back. But anyway, I did want to make you aware of that. Like I said, I'm not ripping the product, but, well, I've said that enough. But I'm not happy with the way this was handled. And I'm super, super disappointed in Nick Faldo. If you're watching this, Nick, or Hank Haney, or Martin Chuck, or Nick Bradley, or Brian Mogg, or Eric Cogorano, you know, you need to have better customer service and you need to answer your telephone. And David Ledbetter, you need to touch base with your company, talk to them about their customer service. They need to answer the telephone. It's not a good look. Anyway, I just wanted to give you that heads up on that. But now we'll get into the show. And this talks about head coach Bob Stoops. He was the head coach when Josh Heupel was offensive coordinator, and his brother, Mark Stoops, was a defensive coordinator. And, of course, the Vols are going back in 2024. Now, he's no longer the head coach there, Bob Stoops, obviously, but he had a very storied career there. And what happened was, and actually I'll kind of go through this. This is by Zach Reagan, again, one of my favorite writers. He has a real good knack for writing very interesting stories. Talks about, you know, Stoops and Heupel. See, Heupel was the quarterback when they won a national title. So, you know, they've actually got a good history prior to him becoming a coach. And he started out as a graduate assistant, and then he was on Mike Stoops' staff at Arizona before returning to Norman, and he became the quarterback's coach. Then he was co-offensive coordinator in 2011. So that was, what, 12 years ago. And Stoops fired him in 2014 when Oklahoma went 8-5. Now, at the time, they had the number 21 scoring offense in the nation, but on defense, they had the number 56 scoring defense in the nation. But Stoops' brother, Mike, was the defensive coordinator at the time. So it says, the writer says, you can draw your own conclusions. And, of course, the rumor around college football has long been that Heupel hasn't spoken with Stoops since he was let go. Says we don't know for sure if that's the case. Heupel mentioned at SEC Media Days last month that his relationship with Oklahoma isn't complicated, though he didn't reference Stoops. And they're gonna and we're gonna play Oklahoma in 2024, and we're traveling there. And Heupel said it would be a unique day in his career to return to Norman. And said last month Stoops was asked during an interview on his YouTube channel about which games on Oklahoma's 2024 schedule he's most looking forward to. He immediately mentioned the Tennessee game. He said, I think the fans will embrace Josh Heupel coming back here with Tennessee. I'm sure they will. He won a national title. How can you not be excited about Alabama? I don't know what he's talking about there. He said, but those two stick out. Coach Heupel bringing Tennessee back, and Alabama is always exciting. He said, Stoops didn't say much about Heupel. He said, but it's rare that he even mentions Heupel, so the comments felt at least a little bit noteworthy. He said, I get the feeling Stoops wishes the relationship with Heupel was in a better place. Well, I'm sure he does. He fired him. He fired him, even though they were number 21 in offense, and their defense was in the mid-50s. But he didn't want to fire his brother because nepotism, favoritism, all kinds of tisms. So anyway, he clearly scapegoated the crap out of him. And Josh Heupel's a great offensive mind. It was a bad decision, clearly, but it worked out for us in a very long-term way because first he went to, Missouri. Then he wound up at UCF, finally wound up here. But I'm sure he didn't appreciate getting fired when it was clear where the problem was in Oklahoma at that time. Now, his brother's actually a good coach as well and had success at Kentucky. I keep calling him Mark Stoops for some reason, but it's Mike Stoops. So anyway, I just thought I would cover this because I do think that he scapegoated him. And whenever people are worried, oh gosh, what if Oklahoma wants a head coach? Would they come try to get Josh Heupel? I don't see Heupel going back there with Bob Stoops being there because realize Bob is heavily influential in the Oklahoma politics and that football team and that university. And I don't see it. That's not a team that I'm sitting around worrying about given the history. But I think Heupel will enjoy going back. I think the fans will love him. You don't forget a national championship. And they're not going to worry about the politics of him getting fired by Bob Stoops. I certainly wouldn't. I mean, if T. Martin came back and he was the head coach of another team, we'd love him. You don't forget a national championship. If Peyton Manning was coaching somewhere, you don't forget the players that you really liked. And I don't think there'll be any tension whatsoever. There'll probably be some tension between Bob Stoops and Heupel. They'll probably not say a whole lot to each other. They'll probably just shake hands or something. And Bob won't be the head coach, obviously. They've got their head coach. But he'll be around. You can count on that. So anyway, I did want to cover this. And yes, I believe Bob Stoops, I think he absolutely scapegoated the crap out of him. That's my opinion. You may disagree with it. But anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's be able to continue to cover the Vols and all our opponents and all the SEC and all that stuff. If you've not subscribed, it's on your right, my left. Just hit that little button. I would appreciate it. And right over here is the most recent video that YouTube thinks you'll love. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.